And we are brought to you by our friends at Dyer Law. If you've been hurt in a personal injury accident, you can count on the Dyer Law team to provide you with a helping hand when you need it. No matter what you're dealing with, call the Dyer Law team at 402-393-7529 or visit dyer.law to chat with trusted professionals about your personal injury claim. That's DYER.law. Catching up on some of the comments in the YouTube stream as Avery Howard gets set to join us here for the 9 o'clock hour. Travis chimes in, and I believe this is our friend Travis in Texas. It would be absolutely ridiculous for Bama to get in over Texas. I doubt the dominoes will fall in a way for that to happen. And I generally agree, but there's a situation where you've got a one-loss SEC champion Alabama and a one-loss Texas with a Big 12 championship who has a win over Alabama, and I, honest to God, don't know which team should get in that scenario.
Well, an SEC team has to be in there.
Especially the SEC champ,
so
right?
If it is the SEC champion in Bama or it's Georgia, there's going to be an SEC team in.
Yeah, but how do you put
will.
Georgia in if Bama beats them?
I'm with you.
You know, it's like that's where the
situation.
It's a little bit
like Washington, Oregon.
Yes, that's how the situation can get squirrely in a hurry there. But I appreciate the comment there, Travis. There's a nice little discourse going back and forth on our YouTube regarding Texas football, which is not something you say in Nebraska very often these days. But like I said,
Texas is a powerful player.
We wanted to get all of the pertinent players in the college football playoff that are playing this weekend involved. And, so I believe we have Florida State tomorrow as they've got
that is correct
an opportunity to punch their ticket. We think.
I still think Louisville's a much better team than people are giving.
Louisville's
them
tough.
for.
Louisville's really tough.
I've been reading a lot of predictions.
Despite
I've been reading a lot
the
of
loss
articles.
to Kentucky, Louisville's a really tough team.
Jeff Brom in his first year, what he was able to do there is incredible.
I mean, what he was able to do at Purdue was incredible too. Like Purdue's a tough
He's a good
job.
coach.
Purdue's a really tough
coach.
job, and he goes home to what's it like to have a guy come home to a state school and actually perform well? That would have been.
I don't know.
That would have been nice. None of us know.
It's a good thing Nebraska didn't experiment with that.
None of us know, Andrew. That's the problem. Joining us now is Avery Howard from Hurrdat Sports. Avery, how are you this morning?
I'm good. Do you mind if I borrow your charger, your laptop charger?
Yes, I
absolutely.
do. Actually,
here we go. Well,
way to come prepared.
Here's what I'm realizing is I was charging overnight and clearly it wasn't. Maybe
there was a lot of cords involved here. I think we got it.
Lost power at the office. Lost power at the apartment. It just happens. Right?
Maybe it wasn't plugged in all the way. 4%, scary.
Okay, that's not great.
You would not have survived.
That's not great.
Yeah. But hello.
How are you doing? You doing okay?
I'm doing great.
A little flustered. You good?
No, I'm doing great. Actually, the reason why I was right on time is I was debating. I was walking the line of do I make my own coffee or do I just wait till after I'm done? And then I remember we're playing Shane's World today, so I was like, nope, making the coffee. 100% making the coffee.
Good call.
So I will.
You brought water too.
I sure
already.
did. Yeah, I sure did.
And
so
we'll make sure that Andrew gets our spit cups before we play.
Yeah. I will have spit cups on hand. You know what worries me?
So you're at fault.
Is I'm already, the stomach is kind of in shambles because I mixed my Celsius with my vitamin.
Oh.
And I felt like the shakes a little bit.
Oh.
And now I'm going to mix that with a horrible jelly bean.
Oh, no.
So
maybe you might not lose today.
You know what?
Last time all three of us played,
I love where your head's at,
I was the
Ravi.
big loser last time. I got doubled up.
So I'm due.
You are. Well, I don't know, because you've kind of been taking it on the chin all year. So
maybe Avery's due.
Oh,
well, that's why
so.
I came prepared. So
I know why Sasha and Avery both texted us yesterday, hey, let me not come in tomorrow and make it Anna because it's Creighton
That's
season.
not true.
Because you didn't want to do Shane's
That's
World.
not true. I didn't even know Shane's World was going to be on the schedule because we went from Guess Who to Shane's World. Well, I was like, Nebraska Creighton's coming up on Sunday. Naturally, Anna B can, but it's fine.
And we wanted to wrap up the season.
Yeah, we wanted to wrap up the season because I had a stupid idea that I'm going to make you all participate in. And it is
I made mine in simpler form for us.
Yeah.
It's so dumb, but I want to do it, and no one can stop me. So I wanted to grade the position groups this season in possibly the dumbest fashion I possibly could come up with. And so that's what I have done. I asked Andrew to grade them in a dumb fashion as well, which he has obliged. And Avery, did you grade them in a normal fashion? Or you're just going to comment on it?
I might just comment.
Okay, fair enough.
She was probably going through it C-. I'm
gonna have you give us a letter grade.
Yeah, okay, I can do that.
As we go through the groups, and then Andrew and I will give our stupid grades.
Okay,
right.
that's fine.
Yours are ice creams, right?
The top 10 ice cream flavors, according to, and this is a mouthful, the International Dairy Foods Association, the IDFA. I'm sure everybody knew that acronym.
The authority
but
on ice cream.
I just wanted to share what it meant.
Yeah, you got to share your sources. We appreciate that.
Mhm.
I will be grading my my position groups based on Marvel movies and what Marvel movie I think they equate to.
Which there are so many Marvel movies,
well,
so I'm curious because.
So I stuck
did
to
you-
the
did you
Infinity
go
Saga.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Because I'll be honest, the Multiverse Saga is not for me right now. I'm not in on it, but I was a very big Infinity Saga guy. So, and Avery doesn't know what we're talking about because we already asked her, and she's like, "I've seen like 2 Marvel movies ever."
Yeah.
So that's why
Not
she's
in
giving.
a row at random.
That's why she's giving letter grades.
Yeah.
It is ridiculous.
You sent them. You sent them, and my head was like, I don't know.
Which position group would you like to start with?
Well, do you want to start like worst to best?
Ooh, interesting. Sure.
Okay.
So we're starting with quarterbacks then.
Yep.
Avery, letter grade on the quarterbacks.
This is so rough.
You can be honest.
Listen, yeah, you know listen, if you,
everybody knows it was rough this season.
If it's not below a C-, I know you're like hedging it.
Yeah.
So just go ahead and give us the truth here.
Maybe if I grade like how we did like my Spanish grade, like moving into my senior year, they did this thing where it was like if you got gradually better throughout the year, like the grading was
we're not
different.
grading on a curve. We're not grading on a curve. We're not
And
grading.
if anybody got better throughout the year, it wasn't the quarterbacks.
I know that's true, but there was a time where like Heinrich kind of surprised us for a little bit.
Yeah,
Okay.
sure.
Against 2 group of 5 schools. Yeah.
Okay. I'll go with a D.
I think a D is
I think it's fair.
probably fair.
Yeah.
Andrew, ice cream flavor.
That is Neapolitan ice cream.
Nobody likes it.
Nobody likes
And there's 3 different
Neapolitan,
flavors.
And there's too much going on. That's exactly right. Harburg was definitely the vanilla
There's three
of the group,
flavors.
right? Harburg was the vanilla of the group.
Yeah.
Mixing in chocolate with Purdy because when you got to the chocolate, it's like, ooh, I kind of like this
You're like,
too.
oh,
like,
this, yeah.
You start with the vanilla because you're like, man, that's just
The
what
safe,
I'm feeling.
I know what I'm-
right?
yeah.
And then you go chocolate and you're like, oh, good change of pace, right? That's really good. And then everybody knows the strawberry is always last.
You took a
And
chance on
nobody wants to touch the strawberry.
You took a chance on the strawberry, and you're like, that did not go well.
And that was Jeff Sims. The quarterback room is a Neapolitan ice cream.
Outstanding. I'm so glad I made
And that
you
is
guys
actually
do this.
10th on
Yeah,
the top 10
Dead
list.
list. Dead last has to be.
My grandpa would so disagree with you.
Yeah, and that he's
Neapolitan-
probably listening to DB on the radio. Him and Greg Sharp.
Neapolitan is definitely an old man ice cream.
It is.
It
Yeah.
100% is. My quarterbacks are Thor: The Dark World. That is the second Thor movie. It is by far the worst Marvel movie in the Infinity Saga. And that's all I have to say about that. It's the worst movie. It's the worst position group. There's really not much else to say there.
What did you say, Thor?
Thor: The Dark World, the second one.
I was like,
The second Thor is by far the worst Marvel movie.
I read
It's
a comment
not a
and
very
then
good
Thor
movie.
processed a little bit later.
It's all right. What was the
So
comment
I actually
good?
haven't seen Thor 2.
So Thor, you shouldn't. It's very bad. It is very bad.
I saw 2011's Thor.
Which is fine. It's not great, but it's fine.
You like the intro movies.
Yeah. The second Thor is terrible. It is by far
But
the
Thor is funny. Like, at least you can say,
So,
like, he's got great humor.
He's funny in Ragnarok. He's not funny
He's
in
great in Ragnarok.
He's not funny in Thor: The Dark World.
Oh, well,
It's a bad movie.
that's good to know.
Like an
I would
actively
never
bad
watch it.
movie. Yeah, just
No, the
pass.
comment said AR is the Rocky of this group. What's he doing? He's getting mad. But I don't remember what I was getting mad at.
I have no idea.
I do get mad a lot.
Okay, so our second
So I'm sure it's fair.
worst group here. Hold on. This is tricky.
Well, here, this one's interesting for
Do
me.
you have a second worst? Because I don't really know where to go here.
Second worst is not like the right term for this. I awarded the 9th flavor on the ice cream list to the wide receiving room. And
okay.
here's why.
Let's do it.
Because the flavor is Moose Tracks. Okay, and Moose Tracks is
Moose
underrated.
Tracks is 9th.
Yeah, so Moose Tracks is underrated. And so
Underrated,
that's
okay.
why I consider the wide receiving group as an underrated group here because they're a young
Moose Tracks
core.
are good.
It's very good.
That
And,
was
and
my-
you know what? They're being built. And over last year's list to this year's list, Moose Tracks wasn't on it. So to see Moose Tracks climbing, I
Climbing on
consider
up.
that growth. And that's how I compare it to the wide receiving room. So really, I don't look at the wide receivers as, hey, the second worst on the list.
But
I look
improving.
at them as most improved.
Climbing. Okay.
And that's what Moose Tracks is.
Moose Tracks or Bunny Tracks? Which do you like better?
Aren't they the same?
I think they are the same thing. I think they're made by different.
Oh, are they
things.
made by? Oh, okay.
Because
I'm assuming one's Blue Bunny.
yeah, it is.
Yeah,
I
that's
think
the
Bunny Tracks.
Yeah.
Moose Tracks was our family code word when I was in
Or now
elementary
Wells,
school.
I should say.
For what?
No one could pick you up from school if they didn't know the code word.
Oh, the code.
Oh, Moose
Moose
Tracks?
Tracks.
So is that an A for you?
Huh? Yeah. I was like, when you said ninth, I was like,
I was like,
devastating.
okay,
she got a little triggered here. She was like,
Devastating.
whoa.
I'm literally going off America's top 10 ice cream flavors. So it takes into account everything. When I get to number 6, you guys are probably going to fall out of your chair.
Oh my
It's going to be like
gosh.
cookie dough, probably.
Totally gave my family word away, but that's okay. My 18-year-old brother didn't even know what a code word was.
I didn't, because we didn't have them when I was a kid, because you guys are much younger than
Well,
I
because
am.
we watched Codenames Kids Next Door.
But
Like,
when
that's
I
why.
was a kid, it was just like, all right, go home now.
I
It's
know.
like, all right, see ya.
I know. So
My
funny.
generation is why there's code words, I think. But Avery, what is your letter grade on the wide
on
receivers?
wide receivers. This is a tough one because
This is a
they're
really
they're
tough one.
reliant on the D grade. So it's like they're studying with the D's, like
And you're grading because they're new.
Yeah.
A lot of these guys weren't expected to play. It is wide receivers were one of the toughest groups to grade.
Yeah. I'll probably give them a C plus. And the plus is just because I think they worked with what they were given. And at the end of the year, there was flashes of some good things, especially from the young guys. It's just hard when the passing game just was what it was. And at times you're like, whoa, okay, like there's over 100 yards passing. Like where did that come from? And it looked fine. You know, there's some scoring touchdowns in there. Like
some big plays.
There was some big plays, but it just wasn't consistent enough. And I don't think the guys that needed to be targeted were targeted enough. And so, I mean, it's tough when there's not much of a rhythm in that area of the game. So let's hear what movie you got. Because I'm taking notes over here. Which one's not to watch?
I would say you're not going to want to watch these till we're like to the top half, probably. Wide receivers are Iron Man 3. Okay. After the first Iron Man movie, after Avengers, everybody was kind of excited about the idea of another Iron Man. You're coming into the year with Billy Kemp and Marcus Washington and ICG and Xavier Betts. You're like, okay, I like this idea. But by the time we got to the final product, it was disappointing at best. Overall, I agree there's room for that they improved a lot.
Yeah.
But because of what they were being compared to, of what we thought the group could be coming in, it was really not what we expected to see. Much like the wide receiver room, this movie was serviceable to maybe pretty good at parts. But by the time you got to the end of it, you're kind of just like, what am I watching here? Still, there were some moments that you enjoyed. There's moments of that movie that I enjoy. It's not like Thor: The Dark World where I just actively will not watch it. It's a serviceable movie, but compared to what we thought coming in, it was dramatically worse than I think people hoped.
I still like RDJ in all movies.
Yeah, he's great. I mean, he kind of saves a lot of movies. RDJ would be like the quarterback that makes this wide receiver group look good. Unfortunately,
he's Heinrich Harburg during the middle of the season.
Those 2 games. All right, what is the next one?
Iron Man 3 is better than Iron Man 2, though, in my opinion. Yeah, and I get in arguments about that. I know that's not where we want to go, but let's just leave it at that.
I'll leave it at terrible take.
Shane just throws a hot take out there and says, "Don't argue.
Don't say a word. Move on."
So you combine special teams, and this is a perfect.
I did. Yeah.
I'm going to break them up. So 8 and 7 is special teams for me, and then you can talk about special teams. 8 is strawberry ice cream, and that is Brian Buschini. It falls flat more than it smacks, just like his buns.
So
Brian
lame.
Buschini is the punter equivalent of the Hawkeye shooting the hot dog. Just
yes.
But
And
sometimes
Avery had a great tweet about that because she caught the scoreboard doing that at the game, which is a great troll by Nebraska.
Terrific troll.
Didn't pay off in the end, but a great troll.
The funniest thing was in the beginning of the week, I was like, I hope we have a reason to use this by the end of the week. And then obviously our company, we didn't have like any reason to use it because of the result. But Nebraska threw that in first drive. I was like,
you love to see
I know Husker Vision's always thinking. I know they are.
Because Nebraska hopes for an early win.
I know.
Because they don't want to wait till the end to find out if there's an actual win.
Yeah, it was the fact that it was blocked though, like it just was like it was a metaphor.
It was a metaphor.
Was
I
great.
like that.
And so 7 on the list is cake batter.
Sure.
And cake batter is Tristan Alvano in this case. I love cake batter. I don't know about anybody else. I love it. And those that don't can suck
I love regular cake batter. I don't know about cake batter ice cream.
Oh, cake batter ice cream's insane.
Like from Cold Stone?
Oh, the yellow cake batter. You're speaking my language.
Better than a
Avery.
It's
yellow
right
Celsius.
And look, like I said, yeah, better than a yellow Celsius. Did you know this flavor is yellow when it comes out of the can?
I don't drink Celsius,
Fun
but
fact.
interesting.
But those
Scary.
that don't like cake batter ice cream can suck it. And that's how I think about Tristan Alvano. Those that don't like him can suck it. It's 7th on the list. Tristan had his moments this year where he was really, really good. A good stretch toward the back end. He started off shaky. He started off very freshman-like. Yeah. And even though he missed some field goals down the stretch, it's all right because you know what? Cake batter grows on you. And Tristan Alvano will grow on you too in every single bite.
There we go.
So 8 and 7 go to special teams, and I know that's what you combined.
Yes. So my special teams, as Avery works on her letter grade here, is Avengers: Age of Ultron. Okay, we mostly recognize the cast of characters.
Age of what?
Age of Ultron.
Ultron.
Yeah,
Okay.
It's a character. It's fine. You know,
not to be confused with Ulta.
That's Ulta Beauty. That's a different thing. We mostly recognize the cast of characters going into this movie, much like we did with the special teams units, and there was optimism heading in, but the results were somewhere between underwhelming and flat out disappointing. Age of Ultron, not a very good movie, despite having a lot of characters we like. The special teams unit overall didn't perform very well, despite having a lot of characters that we thought we were going to like. That is my special teams movie.
So am I grading special teams as a unit, or do I get to just grade Tristan Alvano? And like, what were we?
You can break them up if you'd like.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to give Tristan a B because considering last year, or it was 2 seasons ago, a point after was considerably
hard
sketchy.
to get.
That was 2 years.
Right.
2 years ago.
Hard
it was,
to get.
yeah, it was
Bleak
like,
Road was okay last year.
Yeah, you're right. Okay,
But
so
2
2
years ago where they were like, hey, I don't know if we can make an extra point.
Yeah. Where it was like, okay, we'll go with 6 because we don't know if we'll get 7. The fact that was almost a no-brainer, I think, every time. I mean, it seems silly, but we checked that box this season.
Mm-hmm.
And I think more times than not, like the kicks that he did give Nebraska and 3 points here and there. And I think for him as a freshman to hit, what was it against? Was it Purdue 56?
55?
Yarder?
I think it was 55 yarder.
To have that as a freshman, I think that's pretty encouraging. And also just to know that Coach Rule has that belief in him, pretty exciting. So I'm going to give him a B. Special teams in general.
Yeah, let's go overall.
I think I'm going to go with a D.
Yeah, pretty bad.
Because I think
because you have to factor in returns.
You do, and that's kind of that's kind of where my mind goes.
Or the lack thereof.
And I mean, I guess when you think about opposing teams didn't gain a ton on their returns, so I
coverage is okay.
Yeah, that was a positive, but I think we expected more on special teams, especially just how much it was talked about going into the season. And it's probably going to be, a work in process, that area. But I think from the spark we were hoping that it would give Nebraska, that just didn't really
fell a little flat.
It did fall a little flat, and especially as the season went on, it didn't seem to get any better.
No,
I
certainly didn't.
I think that's probably the part where I'm like, unfortunately,
sad trombone.
Hey,
that is her grade. Is sad trombone.
The only way you can really go though, right, is up. Right? You can't imagine you go from a D to an F.
I mean, the F exists for a reason.
I'll take 4 letter grades.
Some people get it.
I'll take the edge of the 4 versus the 1.
All right. What is the next group? What's your number 6?
6, and this one's the weird ice cream that I was, kind of alluding to. Buttered pecan.
Ugh.
So buttered pecan
like
is
brown butter pecan, because now we're talking.
Oh my goodness.
No,
maybe
I don't know.
We'll go.
Is there
with
a difference?
Right? So so I was told when I was reading this, it's an old Southern favorite.
Okay.
So is that brown butter pecan?
I don't know, but have you guys been to Coneflower?
Yeah.
No.
Oh,
Coneflower's
dude,
really
they
good.
have your.
Is that in Blackstone?
Yes,
Yeah.
they have your St. Louis gooey butter cake ice cream.
No.
Yes,
way.
it's one of their staples. That's
Yeah.
why Margaret and I have to go all the time.
They have I think they have a lemon.
Get out.
Like a
Get
lemon
out
bar
sometime.
ice
No, that's a
cream.
different movie. We're doing Marvel movies.
No,
Not Jordan
the
Peele
brown.
movies.
They have brown butter pecan there, but my favorite place at home has this brown butter pecan. It's just like, it's not the old people ice cream. It's like
it's the old Southern classic.
Because
It's
I think
incredible.
I think
So
butter
I know where to
pecan. I
go
go
now.
old people.
yeah,
Yeah.
the brown butter pecan
Goodness
is
gracious.
It's like a revamp of an old classic.
Yeah,
Okay.
sure.
I need to make my way to Blackstone.
Yeah.
Sure do.
So anyway, butter pecan
Yeah,
is
sorry.
6, and because it's a weird one, at least to me, I feel like this is awarded to the Nebraska running back room.
Ooh, okay.
Because Emmett Johnson,
Yeah.
despite things going incredibly wrong, he made things better.
Yeah.
frankly. And I feel that's what buttered pecan ice cream is. One, okay. One you never want to choose, but apparently it tastes pretty good. That's Nebraska's running back room.
Yeah, that's fair. I think that's fair. Again, a movie you probably never want to choose, but it's actually not that bad, is the first Thor movie.
Okay.
Pretty pretty solid.
Yes. We're getting closer to movies that like I've seen recently.
It's a little forgettable in the sense that it's not probably one of the first ones you think of, and it's not near the top of the list in terms of Marvel movies, but we get introduced to some characters we really like, and I actually think some of the headliners of that movie, so your Chris Hemsworth and your Tom Hiddleston, Loki and Thor, the movie kind of gets stolen, I think, by Natalie Portman. She is, I think, the best part of that movie, and the her professor, the old guy, Stellan Skarsgård is his actor's name. I don't remember his name in the movie.
I would not have even gotten to the actor's name. So well done.
He's in a bunch of stuff that I like. That's the only reason I know. But so the headliners coming into the season didn't end up playing a big factor. I think in Thor, some of those performances, they're not their best performances because, as we talked about, Ragnarok is where Chris Hemsworth really shines. But still a pretty serviceable movie because some of the people lower down on the cast list really picked it up. Thor, the original.
All right,
the
not too shabby.
Room.
This is tough because it started off pretty hopeful.
It looks great, right?
It did. I was like, okay, sick. If the quarterback thing doesn't work out, we got, the running back situation all figured out. And of course, that would have been too easy.
Kind of like the wide receiving room, though. You had a guy leave before the season even
Yeah,
started,
no, for
and
sure,
then
for sure.
you were hit with the injury bug.
For sure.
Yeah, very similar situations
For sure.
there. Yeah. They just weren't reliant on the worst group on the team in order to get some of their
production.
Although
sometimes the pitch was tough.
Yeah,
the pitch was tough.
getting the snap to them was tough also at times.
Yeah.
Let's get a letter. Let's go.
I really want to be really extra nice. I want to say like a B-, but it feels like
that's too high.
nice. So
that's
I think I'm going to
high.
go with the C. It is too high just because it just Emmett Johnson did what he could, and I was really actually impressed just with how much he stepped up so quickly. And Coach Rule mentioned something, I think, going into Wisconsin, just that, Emmett and Chuba were both on scout team to start the year. And just the way that they arose to the occasion. And I think the way that Emmett just, like AG didn't really get that RB1 spot back.
No.
Like it wasn't like they were really, really trading off those reps entirely equally. So he really made, I think,
Emmett was pretty good.
A great stride.
Yeah.
So I think when I think of him, I want to maybe give the B grade.
Let's give it a C+.
A C+,
there you
right?
go, kind of in the middle there. Yeah.
Because I want to reward that and like to start at scout team and then to maybe at the beginning you'd be like, okay, I'm like running back 5 right now to be the guy and then to step up and do it the way he did. So I'll go with C.
You got to be happy with that progress and going into next season, knowing that you at least have that reliable option is huge for this team.
Yeah.
Avery, good news for you. We're going to push Shane's World another segment because we've got more position groups to get
good.
to.
So we push it to the longer segment.
Yep.
Sick.
So more opportunities for you to eat jelly beans. It's a good news, bad news situation here for Avery. Coming up next, we will finish our position
like
groups
25 minutes.
ratings on Hurrdat Sports Radio.
We will be back